Hey guys, welcome to Modeling Manhood. We're going to do things a little bit differently today, so glad you found us here. Today I want to read a small excerpt from the book series that I'm working on that I'll be sharing little segments with now to the end of the year. So this is going to be one of the stories in the book. My favorite rock on the farm was in the ravine behind the barn. On a hot day, you looked forward to crossing the pasture, jumping the fence, and sliding down the bank to the creek that ran the length of our sugar maple bush, and splashing your feet off the side of the big rock. I can remember asking my dad where the rock came from, and he said some farmer before him probably dug it up and rolled it over the bank to get it out of the way for more arable land. It is sad to think I will never know how hard someone worked to get that rock out of the way, who that someone was, or what type of machinery they used to excavate it. In Joshua 4:6, the rocks were to serve as a sign. So in the future, when children or the next generations ask them, what do these stones mean? You could give them an answer. So that's just a quick little story about the big rock behind the barn. That rock is kind of one of those places growing up as a child that I have a lot of memories of. We used to make forts and tent camp along the bank of the river there. It's also where I shot my first archery buck, which was cool. Kind of looks like a cattail from an aerial view. And just a special spot for a lot of reasons. Growing up, my friend lived across the next field, and the fastest way to his house was through that spot in the ravine where the big rock was too. But looking back now in perspective, that rock isn't much bigger than like a normal kitchen table. And it's interesting to see how things change as you grow up. But you know what? I've always wondered what the story of that big rock was. Last Sunday, I met somebody that's in their 80s that grew up in my neighborhood, and they would tell me stories about coming across that ravine to get to school because the neighbors' dogs would chase them when they went down the road. And I asked her about that big rock, and she said she never went that far down in the ravine. She just crossed up the stream a little bit further to get to the old schoolhouse number 11 there. But just wonder how many other people have asked that question about those rocks. Those rocks that we're talking about here in this segment in Joshua were when the Israelites crossed the Jordan, and there was 12 stones that were pulled. And when the people were to ask, they were to give counsel to the next generation, saying, this is what the Lord has done. And the opposite can also happen if you seek bad counsel. And in 1 Kings chapter 12, starting in verse 6, we pick up with King Rehoboam took counsel with the old men who had stood before with Solomon his father while he was yet alive. What do you advise me to answer this people? And the old men said to him, if you will be a servant to this people today and serve them and speak good words to them, when you answer them, they will be your servants forever. But he abandoned the counsel that the old men gave him and took counsel with the young men who he had grown up with and stood before him. And he said to them, what do you advise me to answer this people who have said to me, lighten the yoke that your father has put on us? And the young men who had grown up with him said, thus you shall speak to this people. Your father made your yoke heavy, but you lighten it for us. And thus shall we say to them, my little finger is thicker than my father's thighs. And now, whereas my father laid on you a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father disciplined you with whips, but I will discipline you with scorpions. And sometimes rocks in our lives, we need to think about, what do they mean? What's the counsel that we're seeking? And my question in the book that I'm asking the readers at the end of this segment is, what area in your life deserves a big rock that others can see, ask you about, so that you can tell them a story about? And part of this legacy of doing all these videos on modeling manhood is so that future generations in my family will be able to hear some of my stories and just be encouraged to get into their Bible. And I hope that you guys find the same truths as you discover different areas in your lives and make stones that people ask you about in your life. Make a declaration or a statement. And think about where you're seeking counsel. Are you seeking the counsel of the old, like Rehoboam ignored, or are you seeking the counsel of your friends and of the world? So thank you guys for joining us here at Modeling Manhood. There was a lot going on in today's video, but I hope that you guys found truth and are just thinking about what direction your life is going and what type of legacy that you're leaving for the next generation. Thank you, and remember, as always, to mirror your Maker and journey with Jesus.